going around the room, how much is your student loan? No one knew. They didn't know how much they owed.
The data, how much they owed, or the percentage.
Or what their plan is afterwards. They knew nothing about it.
There are terms that are thrown around. People start small businesses, and they can be quite successful and not really know the first thing about important terms. Do you have a recommendation on that? Should people take a little course on that? Well, what's your take on that?
Okay, probably the most important question of this interview. Alan Greenspan, everyone remembers Alan Greenspan,
sure.
The
Fed
chairman, and he said that the number one problem in today's generation and economy is lack of financial literacy. So he sees it all, and that was his comment. The government statistics show that for every $100 spent on education, only 2 pennies are spent on financial literacy.
That's unreal.
Yeah. So I was bring you a live example. I sometimes lecture at high schools and universities, pro bono, just go in there like for a lunch. So I was, I won't name it, but it's a large university in Manhattan, and I went there for like a lunch and learn.
Right.
And the topic of student loans came up. And I asked the students, how many of you have student loans? Everyone raised their hand.
Okay.
Then I said, going around the room, how much is your student loan? No one knew. They didn't know how much they owed.
The data, how much they owed, or the percentage.
Or what their plan is afterwards. They knew nothing about it.
Scary.
Secondly, and this is really important for what's going to be going on the next 20, 30 years, the financial risks that a family faces late in life are increasing. The time between retirement and death, or what we call the end of retirement, is going to be increasing 300% for the next 50 years. So there's going to be a lot more time. So they say that, for a joke, they say people aren't living longer, they're dying longer. So people need a plan for that.
Right.
So what I did in my own family, it's really worked wonders. And we have every Saturday night a pizza and learn hour. So we bring in pizza, and we talk about different topics. And most of the topics are about financial literacy. We'll talk about other things also, but the kids are there and having a good time. Over time, what happens is they become attuned to this kind of information, so their antennas are up. And it becomes important to them when they're out there in the workplace or with their friends. They're just more knowledgeable and more responsible. And they also, every topic about financial literacy, they smell the pizza. So that really is very beneficial for all of them. So.
Benjamin, I'm going to turn to you for this. I'm just curious. You described a firm that has 3 locations, over 40 people. Maybe you could talk about corporate culture, what it's like in your firm.
Thankfully, we have a great team, and I'm really very proud of them. We look for team members who are focused and driven. We have an open door policy that the partners and managers of the firm are always available for discussions and guidance. We empower our staff to move up to the next level, take on more sophisticated and challenging work, and have the opportunity to be promoted. We encourage our team members to write email blogs, which we send out to our database. When we're going to a client, we encourage them to prepare PowerPoint presentations and actually make the presentation. It's a great feeling to take along a senior to a client and let the senior make the presentation and the partner or manager just be there along for guidance. We encourage our team to take a very proactive stance with the client. And I certainly appreciate feedback from the clients. And as any of my clients that might be listening can attest, when I do receive feedback from them, I always tell them, good feedback, positive feedback is great. But when you have constructive criticism, something that we can improve on, it's even more important to me. I make it a point to share all feedback with team members and their manager.
You're not afraid. It sounded like we came in earlier in the show. You're not afraid of a good challenge and some...
Open communication is the key.
Wow. We have only around 2-3 minutes left to the show. I want to turn to each of you and ask for a key takeaway, a lesson that you could share with the listeners. But before we do that, just want to remind the listeners, how could they find out more information about the firm Bernath and Rosenberg?
Either call the office 212-221-1140, 212-221-1140, or our website, www.bernathandrosenberg.com, www.bernathandrosenberg.com.
What takeaway could you share with the listeners of Mind Your Business?
A 30-second takeaway.
Ready.
Consult with your professional advisor for both tax and financial advice. No one size fits all. What may be the right advice for one client may not be suitable for a different client. Proper analysis and planning will usually result in a sound financial plan and minimize your tax liabilities and thereby maximizing the amount of money that stays with you and your family.
I'm going to turn to you, Jacob.
When it comes to advice, if God forbid someone needed surgery on his liver, God forbid, the doctor is not just going to focus on the liver.
Right.
He'll bring a team of experts
Right.
and see how the entire body is affected
Right.
before, during, and after. And the same goes for financial advice. You need to research to find someone who is knowledgeable, capable, experienced, with the whole story, impeccable integrity, of course, and more than anything else, we find with wealth management, someone who cares about the client and about their family. So I also just want to add that
Sure.
there's a really big advantage. I really appreciate this interview because it gives me time to reflect and almost forces accountability to myself. What do I do? Why do I do what I do? And if I can impart this message to everyone, it's good for everyone to be accountable, whether they're in their business, whether in their own personal life. And so I was just having that thought as I was preparing for this interview.
So true. The point of accountability for everything in one's life,
Yeah.
and certainly on the financial picture.
I love the honor of interviewing C-level executives and sharing their great advice and perspective on Mind Your Business. I'd love to get your feedback. Post it in the comments below and subscribe. You'll never miss an edition of Mind Your Business.